Interesting stories. Interesting people. Welcome to the Humble Badger Podcast.
Thank you for listening to this podcast today. Remember to like and follow us at The Humble Badger on Twitter and Facebook, or at The Humble Badger Podcast on Instagram. This episode is brought to you with the help of our promotional partners at One Stop Printing. For all your professional graphic designing, printing, and photography needs, check out onestopprintshop.ca. Did you know that the Living Arts Center is visited by over 300,000 visitors annually, which is quite incredible when you consider that the city of Mississauga has only about 771,000 people. It is home to many of the performances of a lot of the biggest stars in Canada as well as internationally. Studio even has a space for hot glass making along with flame working, wood, photography, ceramics. It is quite an icon of the Mississauga skyline right near City Hall. And I'd like to know what my co-host thinks about that.
That sounds great. I did not know about the glass making and all that. That's it's very interesting.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah. Hi. I'm Hio Del Guapo. My friends call me Chris. Probably call me Daddy. I'm sorry. That was wrong podcast.
That's right.
I apologize.
That's right. I can still call you Chris though, right?
You can call me Chris.
Okay,
yes,
so I am a friend.
Yes,
that's
we
good.
We are friends.
We are friends.
On the record.
Have you performed at the Living Arts Center?
I have actually a couple of times. I've done the Open Mic Live, the 2019 season. Mm-hmm. And I think the first time actually I was in high school. I sang in the big theater. It was pretty cool.
Wow, that's very nice. I remember when the Living Arts Center was still under construction, but then right. I'm a little older than you.
I mean, I'm Asian, so I'm probably older than I look.
That's right. Well, our guest certainly has some information about the Living Arts Center.
Hello. My name is Sara Richardson, and yes, I am the marketing coordinator at the Living Arts Center, and I have been for about coming on to 4 years now, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, it has a lot going on, and in fact, I've wanted to take part in a lot of those glassworking and woodworking courses, but they fill up so fast because that's one of our biggest unique factors that we have in the studio arts team. And in terms of the performers, we've had a lot of huge Canadian stars, and I'm not going to act like I knew them before I came to Canada. But, like Burton Cummings, he sells out every time. We also have some great tribute bands that people in Mississauga seem to love, like Get the Let Out, which is actually...
The Dreamboats, I think.
Yeah, the Dreamboats. I'm a huge fan of the Dreamboats. Oh,
it's hard not to be, right?
It's almost embarrassing.
That's right. Chris Hummel, if you're listening, we'd love to have you and the Dreamboats on anytime. You just let us know here at the Humble Badger Podcast. So, Sara, what do you think? You've worked there for 4 years. In your time, what have been some of the biggest names that have performed at Living Arts Center outside of Pablo Dassin, of course?
Oh, of course. The biggest names in my time. I mean, we've had some stars from, Cuba who have come down, and they have like millions of followers in the Latino community. Aside from that, again, as I said, there's Burton Cummings. We have Colin James coming back. All big jazz blues stars.
What's the most fun event that you like personally at the Living Arts Center that they do over the calendar year?
So my favorite event, weirdly, is one that is, we've just started it in the past 3 years. It's the Dance Summit.
Oh, yeah. Well, tell us more about that.
Yeah. Actually, Frost Flo, or Marcel, he decided to collaborate with us on it, and he's like the lead guy. He's amazing.
Yeah, we'd love to have Frost Flo on the show too, by the way.
Yeah. And it's we wanted it to really be an accessible community event for, exploring how hip hop has evolved and other genres of hip hop that, there's like pop and lock and other stuff I don't know. So it's a really cool event. We've managed to make it free last year, and it was, everyone was out in the atrium. It was a huge party. There was a trumpeter playing. It was awesome.
Sorry. There. Water is important.
Water is important.
Yes, it is.
Hydrate.
Didn't we give you some water?
We did.
Okay. That's okay.
That's smart.
While he's having some water, I want to ask you, the Living Arts Center, I think a lot of people are not aware that it actually provides classes as well. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of classes you provide and how can people register for those classes?
Yeah, so there are so many different kinds. We have improv, for adults. We have improv for adults, musical theater for adults. We also have the glass blowing, flame working, pottery, dance, all kinds of dance. For kids, there's a variety of programs that sort of mix media so they can get a chance to explore everything and figure out what they like. And to register, you just have to go to livingartscenter.ca or you can call the box office 905-306-6000.
See, I was going to ask, what are some of the things that people wouldn't know about Living Arts Center in terms of like
Good question.
lesser known facts, if you will?
Well, Howie Mandel was here, and we actually have a signed picture of him in one of our hallways. It's always fun to go and find it. And he has hair, so you probably won't notice it.
Oh, it's like old Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
I remember Howie Mandel with hair. It was very curly.
Bobby's World, yeah.
Yeah. Bobby's World?
That's
Wow,
my
it's going
show.
way back.
It was a great show. Again, older than I look.
Yeah, exactly. Sarah, what do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about the Living Arts Center, maybe as a facility?
Well, a lot of people, first of all, don't really know what's going on inside half the time. They think of it as a community center, and it just so happens that the times people are inside and there's nothing going on, it's like, oh yeah, there are people just using the space to dance, which is great. I love seeing that, but they just don't know how much actually goes on. We have trade shows, we have corporate companies coming in to do their big conferences. And on top of that, just the amount of camps and the kids, the school workshops that come through, it's just, there's a lot that goes on. And I love seeing, especially the kids really enjoying art. It's like one of my favorite things, which is kind of why I like being a social media person, because I get to like be the stalker. Okay, I shouldn't say I'm stalking kids. That's not what I'm doing.
No, just so we're clear, listener, she does not stalk children in her spare time.
No.
Or her professional time either.
That's right.
Especially,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
So we can use the space for dancing, right? You're just saying if I decided to roll up one day into the front atrium and film myself dancing, that would be fine?
Actually, that happens a lot.
Ooh.
So yes.
Random dancing just breaks
All
out.
right, then.
Yeah.
It's like Bollywood, like, you know.
There's Bollywood, there's jazz
There's
dancers.
a tree inside.
There's a tree inside. Yes, of course. How do you supply the rain, or do you have to bring your own rain?
That's Photoshop.
That's
accurate.
Photoshop? I see. Okay. And the car chase scene?
CGI.
CGI. Okay.
yeah.
You've got all the answers, don't you?
I just don't know how to do any of it, but you know.
What are the biggest challenges you face being the social media person for such a large facility?
It's mainly that we have so many different, what we call pillars of the organization, like the restaurant, the corporate sales, the school workshops that we really want to try and spread the word about to the school boards. And
Is that Live Restaurant you're referring to?
yes, live restaurant.
I just want to make a shout out to Live Restaurant because they make some of the best rusty nails that you can get in anywhere. Frankly, I've always had those when I've done Open Mic Live, which is a spectacular event. And I just want to, whoever the bartender is at Live Restaurant, please keep them because they make an excellent rusty nail.
Thank you for mentioning the bartender.
Yes.
For the non-drinkers,
That's right.
just think you were talking about actual rusty nails.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't make rusty nails there. That's not what they get from the hot glass blowing classes or anything like that. I didn't think nails were made out of glass. Anyways, we've gone off into a tangent here, and I interrupted you. The challenges with social media.
So it's hard to make sure that people are seeing the information they want and knowing about it on one social media, not one social media platform, but one account basically on each platform. And I just really want people to see what goes on. It's kind of been this mission of mine, and our engagement, on social media has really gone up in the past few years, tooting my own horn. But
Toot away.
toot, toot.
Not like that.
It's the beans, I'm sorry.
It's the beans. I was telling her to toot, not you. Anyways, again, we've gone off into a weird place.
Yes.
I'd apologize, but
Yeah.
they were delicious. Where do you see yourself, like, what goals do you have for the next year in terms of, like, what you want to do with the social media and just terms of developing that with the Living Arts Center? Is there any specific targets or anything that you're?
Yeah, we definitely have targets. It's in a transitionary period right now.
Right.
This I can say, because the city has announced to the public that it's taken over as of January 2nd, and so I know that eventually their culture division and the Living Arts Center will want to sort of merge and have the same message. They're really trying to make Mississauga Music City, as they say.
Right.
And I'm really excited for that. And I'm looking forward to being a part of that because it means maybe making the music world in Mississauga a bit bigger and showing so many of the people, Pablo, you've introduced me to, Matt Daddy and all of that.
That's
and
right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, giving them more exposure, having people from outside the city want to come here and being a part of spreading that message. So
Cool. Yeah. And how does Sara unwind after a long day of social media at the Living Arts Center?
Well, I turn off all my notifications.
That's good. Not a lot of people can do that.
I had to. But I do a lot of yoga, which calms me. And then I like to do drawing, but now I'm really into coloring books.
Coloring books.
Adult coloring books, which
adult coloring
that
books.
sounds weird now that I say that.
Yeah, I know. Anytime you put adult in front of anything, even though it makes sense, it sounds dirty, but it's not meant to be, you know?
No.
So, yeah.
Depends on how you say it, too.
It also depends. Yeah, I suppose if adult coloring, I know, I get that.
Adult coloring books. Yeah.
But the thing is, when I was a kid, I was not a prodigy or anything like that, but I was fairly good at coloring. And, uncles, aunts, when they would come and give me gifts, they would give me coloring books. But of course, those coloring books were for kids, and I would find them not challenging at all. And they didn't have adult coloring books back in my day. But, at the same time, they're available now. And now I don't color, but
Things were different in 19.
Things were different back then.
19 diggity 2, right?
19 diggity 2. That's right. I could say 19 something and and people would understand. I think it's time for rapid fire. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. All right.
Okay.
So simple, the game. Ask a question, answer. We'll start with this one. Name a word that starts with the letter Q.
Quail.
Quail. Wow, she thought of that right away. Have you ever had quail? I've actually eaten quail.
I've had quail eggs.
Quail eggs are nice too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There was, speaking of Mississauga, so they do Carasaga, and at the Filipino booth, they had quail eggs. I loved them. I wish they were bigger, though.
Yeah.
You just have more than one, though. You just...
That's right. Mush them all together. That's right. If you've played sports, what was your favorite number to wear as a jersey?
12, but I never played sports.
Okay.
It's a good number.
You like the number 12. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
It's
Get a nice dozen.
Number. There you go. All right. Tapas or pasta?
Tapas.
Ooh.
That was unexpected. I wasn't expecting myself to say that.
Right.
But it's good.
Tapas are delicious.
Scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
7.
7, eh? So maybe tell Sara your secrets and we'll be able to figure that out. Okay, well, let's get to the trivia portion of the segment here. And your trivia, since you deal with an organization called the Living Arts Center, we're going to ask you about life, but not in the way that you may think. We're going to ask you about the lifespans of various animals.
Ooh.
Okay, we're going to go to our friends here at futurelearn.com for random information. So I'm just going to ask you, what is the lifespan of a standard chameleon?
Okay. 10 years.
It's actually 3.5.
Oh,
so
jeez.
yeah,
I mean, it's like human years or chameleon years, right?
I think it's I think those are
it's like
those
human
are
years, right?
Yeah, no, and we're asking these questions again not to highlight any amount of knowledge, but see, we can all learn something. I certainly did not know that. While we're at it, what is the average lifespan of a badger?
Oh, a badger. Sorry.
Mushroom.
Okay, now I'm gonna lowball it.
Okay.
7 years.
It's actually 15 years. So 15 years. We hope the Humble Badger podcast can last 15 years. That would be grand. But yeah, it's about 15 years. So this is just, again, I had to pick either I do questions about life or I do questions about arts. Because apparently those are my only two options if I'm interviewing somebody from the Living Arts Center.
Question about centers.
Yeah, that's right. We can do that. So I do want to thank our guest for this episode, Sara Richardson, and you can get more information about the programs that she offers there at Living Arts Center. And you can follow her at Smiley Sarah Janey on Instagram. And her home address is, she told me not to talk about her home address. So we're not going to give that away. But yes, go to livingartscenter.ca and you can get more information on all the programs and everything that is available there. I do want to thank my co-host, Mr. Hio del Guapo, who is a singer and a cartoonist. I'm not sure how many people knew that, but you should check him out at Hio del Guapo on Instagram. So thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Make me feel very special.
And once again, we would like to thank our promotional partners at One Stop Printing. You remember to visit them at onestopprintshop.ca. For any inquiries from anyone, please visit thehumblebadger.com for contact information or send us a message through social media. Signing off here from the set at Trax Ahead Studio, my name is Pablo Dawson. Wherever you are and whatever you do, remember to follow your passion.
Thank you for tuning in to the Humble Badger podcast. For more information, please visit thehumblebadger.com. The Humble Badger podcast is produced by the Pablo Dawson Company. Context matters. See you next time.